So I'll just give you guys a little bit of a taste of kind of how an Interski session will look and feel. The beauty is that most of the people at Interski don't know anything about Canadian approach. So the Canadian teaching approach it's new to them. So that's what we'll be sharing with them. Um, I'd like it if you guys can kind of partner up with people that you feel like you haven't gotten to know very much, but maybe connect with somebody on the lift this time, asking the question, what was like the best part of the training so far today? What were some challenges that you felt you had? And then maybe just like your focus, you can discuss your focus technically with your partner. Okay. So we'll go up the lift and we'll get back together again at the top of our demo run. Just to bring you guys in on, at Interski, we're going to talk about the Canadian teaching approach, or teaching the Canadian way. And the four things that we should all be focused on are the student, creating tasks, assessing, and developing. If we all start from that point, then we're going to start to look the same. Okay. That first part there, when I sent you guys up and had you talking, that's kind of the beginning on how to get, connect with your student. Okay. Because that's kind of the centerpiece that we work around. I would ask you guys this time, with the same partner, you're going to ski a little bit and just reflect with your partner for this whole run. You can kind of alternate on task design. What are some things that you guys consider when you're designing the task? Okay. And at the bottom, we'll kind of discuss the 2 points, a little bit about how you guys connect with your student, and number 2, how you design your tasks with regards to those students. Okay. So that'll be the task for this time. But with your partners, you got like 6 or 7 minutes to get to the bottom. Sound good? When we teach courses in the CSIA, we workshop ideas, and it gives people in the group a chance to actually get to work and talk about skiing and talk about teaching. Because what we found is they learn the most when they're in action rather than when they're being lectured. Of course, there is a component where we do lecture and tell people about what we want to do, but at some point we want to get them in action and discussing, and that seems to be the way that they learn quickest and deepest. Cool. What are some ideas that you came up with regards to connecting with your students and then task design? So first of all, let's go with connecting with the student. What are some things that you guys did or do to connect, and what do you find important to find out about them? One of the things at Interski that I find is really kind of driving the sessions is their curiosity. They'll ask the questions and then we answer, and it kind of creates quite a nice flow. And so don't be afraid to ask them to be okay with asking questions, invite the questions. And I think even when we're teaching courses, whenever I just say simply, like, if you ever have a moment where you're like, what did he just say? Just ask the question, what did you just say? Or can you repeat that or help me to understand that better? Because the questioning seems to drive the sessions deeper. Okay. The next part is the assessment piece. Okay. Just on the lift, with your partner, discuss what you want them to watch in your skiing. We're going to do half a run where you follow your partner, and then half a run where you flip it. And if you want to pull your phone out and film each other, you're welcome to do that. One other thing you might notice at Interski is there's a lot of phones in your face. Some people are more subtle. They hold it here, but others are much more like in your face. So you kind of you got to get used to that. All right. With your partner, in fact, maybe we can shuffle the deck this time, pick a new partner. Just take the opportunity to connect with another person in the group. Up we go. We'll do one run and we'll meet back down here. So now I've just created yet another opportunity for the group to chat with each other and reflect a little bit. The group that I have today are experienced course conductors, so the tasks are a little bit more open and giving them a little bit more time together. When I'm teaching a group of people that maybe don't know about our methodology or our technique, I don't give them quite as much leeway and quite as much time. but because this is the Interski team, they got a little bit more time. And they're also learning about each other and connecting because not all of us know each other very well yet. So that's a part of the plan. When I design tasks, I've been really focusing on one simple fundamental that relates to the situation really well. So, an example, when the snow conditions are like they are right now, it's a little bit bumped up. I would focus on the fundamental of the pole plant, just to help people with coordination so that they can negotiate the snow conditions easier. And then that becomes the focal point of the day. So everything I would work on would relate to that fundamental of the pole plant and then helping them to coordinate movements to negotiate the snow conditions. So find out what people are working on and watch that thing. If we teach new ski instructors to find out a little bit about people and watch specifics, that's helpful. One of the other things I was just reflecting on was Casey said, you know, when he designs a task, he considers the situation, the snow conditions as a priority. And one of the things that I think we can add to that would be to pick a fundamental that most relates to the situation. So an example is the snow conditions are getting a little bit bumped up. Maybe the fundamental of the pole plant could come out. And then when you set up with one of the fundamentals, that can be what you start to look at. So you're not looking at all the whole picture all the time. You can tell somebody what to do and you watch to see if that's happening. And then you build your session on how to make them better at that one fundamental. So it's a little bit more focused. Assessment is not just watching. The Canadian approach, we assess understanding as well. So we listen to what people have to say. And that's like kind of this interaction that I've been going through here, where I assign a task, whatever it might be, but it also has a question built into it. Okay. And then that's how another way of assessing understanding. When you see one thing and what you hear matches, if we as good course conductors match observations, it keeps people clear on the fact that they're going in the right direction. You ever have a situation where you're learning something, but you're not sure if you're getting it? That's very confusing. So this is a way of making things so that it's not very confusing. Okay. Wow. So we're at like the development stage. Okay. So why don't we do this again? I want you to find another partner, shuffle the deck again, and this is like if we think about how we develop, what are some of the key things that we do in development? What are we considering? Okay. How do we make development specific? And what are we developing? Okay. Let's head up the lift and you guys can partner up again. We'll do one more full run and we'll come down here again. Just one thing I will say, at Interski, you might not give people as big a leash as I'm giving you because you'll be on a bigger mountain. It's real easy to manage here. The Canadian teaching approach really, one of the main things is to keep it about the students. And no matter what level they're at, whether you're working with the Interski team or you're working with a new level one, you gotta have to make it about them. And workshopping is a great way to make it so that it's all about them. They're involved, they're talking, they're discussing, and they're engaged like 100%. Whereas when you start to lecture, it becomes a little bit more about the teacher unless the content is really, really good, and then it can be really engaging. So it's a matter of balancing those lecture points and making them so that the quality of the information is so high. But most of the time, like if you just listen around us right now, there's a lot of discussion and that engagement is kind of the target. If we can start with the basics of, you know, getting to know your student, connecting with the student, creating tasks based on the situation, and creating an opportunity for the question when we develop the task based on one of the fundamentals. Um, Assessing the fundamentals by watching them ski, assessing understanding by listening to them and seeing if what we see matches what we hear. And then the development. On the development side, make sure that we teach people that when we develop skiers, we make it specific. Okay, we pick a part of the turn and a part of the body to focus on, and then the things that we are developing are the 5 skills. Teaching the Canadian way, it's four key parts. One, we get to know our students and we prioritize them throughout the session. The whole day is based around the student. And then the next thing we do is we develop tasks, and the tasks are really built based on the snow conditions and the situation and the students we have in front of us, of course. Um, we assess the fundamentals in their skiing, and we develop their skiing using the 5 skills framework, and we make our feedback specific by picking a part of the turn and the part of the body to focus on.